before I start our conversation?
Sure. So first off, I want to say thank you for having me on. It's actually very humbling because I always say that you're my idol in our office. And when you come to speak at our office, I'm always super, super impressed. And I kind of want to be like you when I grew up. So it's really, really cool to be here. And I'm definitely very, very appreciative. We service Bayonne, Jersey City. We service the Oranges. And we also service Monmouth and Ocean County because we have an expansion team, in other areas. So our base is out of Bayonne. We do work a lot in Jersey City in those areas as well. So, but just wanted to say thank you very much. I mean, between you and Ronnie, I love the energy at your office. I love the level of intelligence and the support and the ideas and the uniqueness of it. And I love how much you guys have grown so quickly. I think it's so cool. So congratulations to all your success as well.
You're awesome. So thank you can always count on Chris. You give him some compliments, you get him right back. So I can play that tennis match all day, but I do appreciate the kind words. And so for anybody here who's hearing that, Chris does serve some alternative markets as well down the shore. So if there, is an opportunity, Chris has done a great job with some referrals for some agents in our network. You can always feel free to reach out to him with that too. All right, so we're going to jump right in with a tight time frame, guys. Save your questions as we go through here because I am going to have an opportunity at the end for some Q&A. Chris, I want to start off. Let's get right into it. What main changes have you made in your business the last few years to really experience that tremendous growth, basically 4X in your business, short period of time?
Sure. So I was with Weichert about 8 years. My business was very stagnant. It was not growing. I was basically stalked by a team leader from Keller Williams in Jersey City. In fact, she found out that I go to the Polar Bear Plunge in Seaside Heights, and she came to the Polar Bear Plunge, got drunk, and became my friend. And then I found out that she was the team leader. She asked me for an appointment, and Pam, she asked me for, and I came over, had an appointment with them. Really loved everything that I had to hear. And then I sat down and I did some career visioning with her, and sat and we figured out where I want to be, what would make me happy with, my life in the next 5-10 years, and how much money I would want to make, how many properties I would want to buy, and what I would like to have for my family. And we made it up like just a plan, and we put it in writing. And we executed it, and I basically, was held accountable, and I did it, and got a lot of energy from it and a lot of excitement that I saw it was actually working. So when I came from Weichert and I came to Keller Williams, the best way for me to describe it, I left a funeral and I showed up at a wedding. I mean, super excitement. The energy was amazing, just so different from what I was used to at Weichert. Not bashing Weichert at all. I mean, it was a great office and great people, and we had a lot of fun, but there really wasn't a lot of sharing and outside the box thinking. So that's what, helped my business grow. And we started to understand systems. I never even thought about a system. I mean, I'm in the business for 20 years. I'm only with Weichert 3.5. I never even thought about a system. What's a system for your business? And then when we started creating many systems to allow our business to run nice and smoothly, and just to, go without us even thinking, that's when our business started to grow because it gave us leverage. And then really hiring the right talent to help, yourself. I mean, a lot of single agents out there don't want to spend the money on an assistant, but if you think about it, if you get an assistant and you give them tasks and you build out a position for them that may work to benefit you, you can sell a lot more houses if by freeing up the time that you would normally be spending doing the things that you shouldn't be doing. So I used my first, I went to family reunion in New Orleans and I brought my family. And that was my first experience with Keller Williams. And on the way there, I read the MREA, and I was so impressed by the book. And yes, I started to, drink the Kool-Aid, and it is a Kool-Aid, but it really does taste good, and it really, works well. And I use the MREA task list, which is in that book. And basically, MREA task list is if you haven't seen it or you're not familiar with it, you can see 500 of the tasks that an agent can handle on their own. And then you can build out a position for an admin number one with all the things you don't like to do, all the things that take too much of your time, and then create a position by moving X's over from one column to the next to create that job position. So I've been really lucky in my business that I've found some amazing people that support me, love me, I love them. We all really care about each other, have an incredible culture, but they care about my business sometimes more than I even care about it. So by finding the right help to get that leverage and utilizing systems for everything that we do and fine tuning these systems is what really created, grew my business, and, masterminding about ideas of how we can grow together. Last year, I mean, we set a goal for 75 million, and we never thought we would even achieve that. And we achieved 100 million, and we did, I think, 316 units as a team. So it was a really crazy, busy, roller coaster ride of a year, but it was exciting. And, we were super proud. We went to Topgolf to celebrate, and everybody got drunk and danced all over the party bus and went nuts and was hanging from upside down on poles and doing all this crazy stuff. So we had a blast. We really had a blast.
No, it's awesome. You should be super proud of that. Not just the growth pattern, but in the time frame that you have, and having it be organized, right? Like, it's not there's a level of controlled chaos in this business naturally, but you have systems and processes to attribute this growth to, which means that in a downshift, you're going to take more market share. You're not just going to give all this back. Right. Where we see a lot of agents running and run their business now off of sheer entrepreneurialism, which is going to be a real challenge for a lot when this corrects. So let's talk about that a little bit more. What are so you said, implementing some of these systems and tools into the business so that the business was kind of running a little more automatically, right? Autonomy. Can you give us a little insight on what some of those tweaks, changes were, and how that plays out in your day-to-day?
Sure. So you brought up a good point that, in this market, any agent can make money because it's a busy market, and, everyone's getting to help their aunts, uncles, cousins, and nephews. But when when the market starts to shift and the sellers start to realize that they need somebody, that is really hardworking, educated, knows the market, is a go-getter. They're not going to use their cousins anymore because their cousins are putting the license back into referral, which they've done. This is my third real estate cycle in the 20 years I've been in the business. But I've had some of my best years in the down markets, and I know that the business that's going to succeed in this market right now, the market that we're in, and over the next couple of years, is going to be the agent that is able to find people that are thinking of selling, figure out what their problems are, and fix them. So, you really have to look really, really hard to try to figure out who wants to sell, who needs to sell, who's getting married, who passed away, getting divorced, who lost their job, and you have to help these people. You have to guide them, and you have to be genuine with it. And that really helps your business grow when you show that you really care. So some of the systems that we've implemented, definitely our system for listings has, because I'm so listing heavy and we do so many units in listings, we developed a system for the listings so that I don't have to go to the house a lot, and I don't have to deal with a lot of the extra stuff. Just kind of show up, create that relationship with the client, pair with them. I always ask the client, the first thing I ask them is I say, what are you expecting from an agent? I want to give them the power. I want to stop and I want to listen to what they have to say. And, how can I meet your expectations? I want to know, what they're expecting of me, right? No one else is going to ask that. But when you do ask that, you're showing that you really care, and you're showing that you're looking to meet their expectations. And they'll tell you, I want somebody really honest. I want somebody that's going to answer the phone. So I know what my clients are looking for, and we develop the relationships together. And then we take it to another level. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we have a getting to know you form that we send out with the listings. And when people are filling out the listing paperwork on Dotloop, they have to complete this document. So it's like questions, getting to know them better. Is there a significant other we should treat special in this transaction? Do you have a pet, and what are their names? What's your favorite restaurant and coffee shop? If you were to donate to any sort of fund or hospital or any organization, what would it be? So multiple questions that they complete so we get to know them a lot better, and we can have these conversations with them when we're continuing to follow up with them a year, 2 or 3 from now. And lots of times what we do, we'll give them a closing gift, but we also, we'll give $100 to Sloan Kettering, in their name, and that gets mailed to them. So, we take it to a deeper level and really build those relationships with people. And that really,
So I'm gonna jump in real quick because I want to point something out here, guys. When people think of scaling, and Chris opened this conversation by saying, like, he put a system in together so that he has to spend less time in, and he's going to get into those pieces of that system for us. But note that he's still leading with all relationship stuff, right? So even though we're scaling, the idea isn't to forget about the person and just systematize everything. It's to be able to utilize processes and different systems so that we can much easier he's going to get to know in a minute his client better than most single agents will in 10 meetings, because he's asking those right questions. And by the way, he's got a system that's asking those questions. So I just wanted to point that out, because it's so easy for people to automatically go right towards system scaling is just process, not person. And it's awesome that you're leading with that part, right? It's still relationship. And we just are now narrowing the points down so we know what points to hit. So we're hitting those relationship buttons a lot quicker. Is that an accurate assessment?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think the one system that, I was always listing heavy, but everything was always like chaos with me. And I would sit with the sellers for an hour and sometimes 2 hours, and they want to give you coffee, and you got to pet the dog, and the dog stinks. You ever have a listing like that?
Oh,
They
yeah.
gotta show the dog, even though he's slobbering all over your leg, So basically, my system for listings, Sally calls, she's thinking of selling her house, right? So basically, I call my director of ops, Jessica, and I tell her the address. And after I get off the phone with the people, I set the appointment. I tell them, we're going to meet tomorrow at 12 noon. And then basically Jessica will get the book together and a bunch of other materials, which I'm about to show you what we do and how we do it. And she'll either have our runner drop it off at their house like a half hour after the call, or send it in an Uber like a half hour after the call. So what other agent, that you're going to be competing with is going to be getting them this information in a beautiful bound book, really centralized to them and their home, with their home on the cover that looks this beautiful with a bunch of gifts in a bag, right? So that's the first, touch. And then inside is just a quick note: looking forward to meeting you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Please review all these materials so we can chat. So they're reading all the marketing materials in advance, so I don't have to sit there and go through it with them. So then I show up for the appointment, and they say, oh, do you want to sit down? Do you want to have coffee? I always say, no, this appointment's only going to take 10, 15 minutes. I just need to walk through the house. I need to see it, visualize it. I will get you a market within 24 hours. Do you have any questions about the book? And then, ask them, what are you expecting from an agent? Questions like that. I try to find things that I have in common with them. And I try to be real and sincere and try to find out why they're moving. What's their motivation? I need to know what their motivation is, so I know whether or not I'm going to be wasting my time or not, or if they're really ready to sell and what their timeline is. So then, is this on screen sharing already?
Let me just double check,
Yeah.
Christina.
Yeah,
Yes, you're
Okay.
set. You could screen share.
Let me just pull up my my Google.
So while Chris is pulling that up, I just want to note a couple things. So again, the use of leverage, either a runner dropping that off to the house within a half hour, or I know this is something I talked to Chris about before. He literally will Uber that book to that seller's house within a very short period of time from having that initial conversation. So one of the things that we are challenged with a lot in our business is, how are we going to stand out? How are we going to separate ourselves from everybody else? That in a very short period of time, if they're calling 5 agents, 3 agents, 2 agents, or even 1 agent, what are we doing so that somebody's like, wow? And the minute that you make somebody say, wow, and nobody else does, it puts you in a real strong position of advantage there. So again, noting that, Chris is doing those things very early in that process.
Can you see my screen?
No, I'm not seeing the screen share, Chris. I still got you on video.
All right, one second. Let me just get this off here.
No problem. No problem.
All right, so there you are. So I don't see that I'm actually allowed to share my screen, am I?
Yeah, you're the co-host.
Okay, thank you.
There we go.
Get this up here. Google. Now that I can't see because I'm 46.
He's got the glasses on, so it's all business.
I'm ready. So
keeping. Go ahead, Chris.
no, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for those of us who, Bayonne, Jersey City tends to be a little tighter market. It might be easier to Uber some of these things around, but try to think of a way that you can have that same impact on the initial.
Which I'm all right now. I just want to call you quick.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we have a really cool scooter in our office, so he'll, like, my runner will run over wearing my shirt that's branded to their house with a scooter, so to get there quick, because we are in a city, so it's a little different, but that's like kind of fun. So basically, this is what the bag looks like. So it's one of those recyclable bags. It has my logo on it. Sorry, we just took like a sloppy picture today. Has my logo on it, and it has two handles, so it's reusable, and people can, basically, go anywhere with it. So basically, inside of the bag is
Hi, Dr. Pagan. Good afternoon.
inside of the bag is a candle,
Good. How?
a pen. The candle basically says, when you open it, it says, we'll sell your house before this candle burns out. Just like little silly things to set yourself apart, be quirky, and fun. So that's, and of course, a pen. And then basically this is our Monopoly board that we created. The Monopoly board, it looks a little sloppy right now, but it starts with go and it goes all the way around the whole board. Every little detail of the transaction of selling your home. So basically, when to get moving boxes, where to leave the keys, every little detail, who to call for this, who's going to call you from my team at this point, who's going to call you at that point, who's going to be setting up the open houses, all of those are in there so that I don't have to remind people. And, I always say to my clients, you can call me anytime, but just, you always have this board as a reference if you have any questions about where we are in the process. You can mark it off with a marker, you can hang it on your wall, you can put it on your fridge. So this has helped me a lot with all those extra questions because they don't ask because they keep the board. And it's fun, and it's personalized. So it just shows that we're a little different. So basically, yeah, that's that. That's the bag, sorry. That's the can.
When do they get the board, Chris?
They get it, it's dropped off of their house.
Okay, so right up front they get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then not only are we creating a world where they're surprised and saying, wow, that something shows up right away, but even within that, they got like that candle that gives a little pop. They got that board, which is awesome just as a resource tool, right, in itself. And the bag itself too. So pretty cool. Like right away up front, bang, 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 some real different stuff. And then is this your presentation book that goes through your marketing and stuff?
That's the book. It's personalized. It has their property on it. Talks about who's on the team, what everybody's job is, what all their contact information is, what all of our processes are, where your property is exposed to. Talks about, shows what some virtual staging looks like, shows all of our accolades, tells a little bit about the company, why we're different, talks about our open house process, pledges to the client, things like that. So, the book is about 30 pages long. People seem to really like it and it's very helpful. So I'm at the house, walk in for about 15 minutes, have that conversation. And then basically, let me shut this off. And then basically, I tell them that I would get the market analysis to them within 24 hours. And I'm always very, very purposeful about doing that in time. And when I send the market analysis, one of the things that I do is I try to set up a Zoom with them to meet or to talk right away. And I tell them I want to talk the minute I send it to you, because what happens is they get it, they look at the numbers and they think you're going to recommend one number. And then maybe they think, they're assuming you're going to recommend 450 when you wouldn't have said that on the phone. You're just showing them all of the comparables to kind of tell the story. And with my pricing, what I usually say to my clients is, listen, this is right now in this market, the statistics are telling me, and there have been at least 3 to 6 homes that have sold that are just like yours for this price. However, there's a lot of emotion in this market. We can go for a higher number if you'd like to give it a shot and see what happens. But I'm working for you. I will list the house at whatever number you would like to list it at, but this is my number and this is the number I know it will sell at. So, usually, they respect that. We either meet in the middle, they go with my number. If they go with a higher number, in 15 days, because, I reach out to my clients every Monday morning. So all of my clients, whether it be, tenants, landlords, I don't really work much with tenants, but landlords or homeowners or buyers, only work with a few buyers just because of the buyer's agents. But so every Monday morning I sit with my admin and we go through transaction manager, Jaylene, who's amazing. We go through every single transaction and we talk about where it's at, what needs to be done for the deal. And I tell all my clients the minute we go under contract that you're going to be getting a text message from me every Monday morning about exactly where our deal is and what we're waiting for this week. So the minute I do that, like I did it today, I don't have a crazy Monday because by 10 o'clock, I've already reached out to everyone and no one's calling me. So I can do all the rest of the things that I need to do rather than feeling like I'm out there in the atmosphere all stressed out. So that's really helpful too. And then the other thing is I like to text message just because it's, you can see where the deal is at, because sometimes when you're doing a lot of transactions, you kind of don't forget what the last thing that you told people was. So it kind of helps you keep track. So that's always, pretty, helpful as well. And then, everybody on the team calls. Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and ask a question. That Zoom, so you're doing the CMA review on Zoom. You've already gotten some personal time in the one-on-one. They've already gotten all the information prior to. Pre-pandemic, were you doing Zoom, or is this something that you adopted once we shifted over?
Yes, adopted. Yep.
And do you plan on staying there with that part?
Totally. I think everybody wants that. People don't want to be bothered. People don't want to spend a lot of time with you anymore. That everything's definitely, moving much quicker. And then, when we agree on a number, I just, I tell them, expect some paperwork in Dot Loop to be coming soon. My assistant Jaylene will contact you, and my photographer Sergio will be over there Saturday. I never go to the photography sessions. I just say he's a great guy. He's going to be about an hour. And then the only other time I go to the showings, unless the client is demanding I be there for the showings, which usually isn't that common, especially with COVID. The only other time is I go there for the home inspection, because I feel like it's a very nerve-wracking experience for the clients. And I feel like as soon as it's over, if the agent didn't ask the inspector or they're not really sure what happened, it's a poor business practice not to really know what the result of the home inspection is. So I stay there and I'll make a list and I'll just shoot the seller like a text message, a bulleted text message with all of the concerns. And I say, we should hear something by the end of the week or 3 or 4 or 5 days. And, the attorneys will be in touch about if there are any issues. So, but besides that, I don't go.
Awesome. So,
yeah.
So by the time you launch a listing, you've spent 15, 20 minutes in the actual house, right? You did the walkthrough and you had that really brief conversation, and now you're launching that listing. Think of the time saved there. I can, tell you too, even on the inspection front, and that's awesome. A lot of the business is super close by for the inspections. Just watching people at various levels walking through, some will jump in at the beginning and the end of the inspection, right? Hey, call me when you're about a half hour from wrapping up, so you could be there for that final breakdown and still provide that. And then others have moved toward even just necessitating that the buyer's agent, when they complete, text a quick breakdown of anything really important that we should be pointing out to the sellers. So you could even accomplish that to a certain degree, certainly not to the level that Chris is being there the whole time, but you can accomplish those things too, and maybe even leverage a little more time as business continues to grow, because there will be a period to be there for all of the for all of the inspections. But I love how we can literally look at this and say 15-20 minutes in the house and you have the listing going live a few fast, and you have that leverage process all the way through, because rather than you conveying all the information, you've given them the opportunity to take in that information as it goes, right, at their own pace prior to you having gone out there.
Sure. The other
Any
the other cool thing that
Go
we
ahead.
do, all the agents on our team, well, first off, they have to do a minimum of 2 open houses a weekend. They have to have conversations, daily. They have to have a certain amount of conversations, and my director of ops definitely holds them accountable each week. Like, what are your goals? Do so that's super, super helpful to get them continuing to keep moving along. There was something that I wanted to tell you. Oh, so this is what my point was. So all of the buyer's agents on my team, and they work with sellers as well, in our green room, created videos, which are really awesome. And, the video would be, hey, my name is Bobby. I work for the Chris Piechocki team. We cover this area. My interests are this, that, if you need, any help with real estate, I'm happy to, process. I'm compassionate. I'm this, I'm that, but a personal video. So lots of times if I refer, an agent on my team to someone who's looking to sell their house in, I don't know, Old Bridge, I'll just send them the video of, the agent on my team, so that, they can, really, can feel like they're connected with them, and it's more personal, so that's, a cool thing that we do. And we feel like we definitely snag more big videos.
Okay.
Either I'll
Got it.
send it.
Awesome. So just to make sure I heard that right, I know we have, guys, if you're not on, if you could just mute for me, please. If in that process, so if you're going to pass, you're saying a client along to somebody in your sphere, that you'll have them do a video and then send that over yourself doing that introduction.
Yeah, let me just jump on this screen share, and I'll show you. So,
Okay, perfect.
that's not the one. Sorry. Okay, so let me just
Okay.
screen share, and here we go. You guys can't see that Google Chrome, can you?
No, I see the Mac operating system logo.
Okay. All right. Here it is. Let me see. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, Google Workspace. While you're pulling this up, Chris, who put that book together? Did you do it?
So I got it from an agent from Manhattan that presented at our office, and she sent me the template, and then we just made it our own. So this is Bobby's video. Bobby covers Ocean and Monmouth, and when I have a client that's looking to, that needs help in any specific area, I'll send them Bobby's video. Say, Bobby's a great guy. He's going to give you a call. Or Bobby will use the video on his own and send it to people. So do you guys see it?
Yeah, I see the screen. The video is not playing yet.
Okay, so everyone on the team has one of these videos.
Okay.
Congratulations on beginning your real estate journey. My name is Robert Clayton. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams and a member of the Chris Piechocki team. First and foremost, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in real estate since 2016, in addition to having a background in finance and accounting. During your process, I'd love to be an asset for you. Any question that you...
So you get the idea.
Yeah. No, we didn't have video, but obviously that's going to be his face to it. We heard, so it's a great intro. So it's not a random person reaching out to them. Love it. Love that. Again, utilizing technology to save time in where you'd normally be having to have all of these conversations, and building that rapport in person. So the question I asked, and I asked this too, because I said, who created the book? Really, really cool. And thank you for that answer. Is, again, you even leveraged that, right? Like there was somebody who shared it. One of the very, many benefits to the collaborative work environment we have here, that people would share that with you, and then you can tweak it, make it your own, in order to send out. And then that saves you countless hours. I also want to point out one other thing you said a few minutes ago that I noted. And for those of you who were on 2 months ago, we spent a lot of time with Vanessa Pollack as well. She had those systematized touches with her clients every week. That is something that I have been preaching for the last 5-6 years, that completely changed the business and allows you to scale it. So you're not shooting in a million directions and, on any given day or week. And Chris said he does the same thing every Monday morning, him and his director of ops, going through all the details of the transaction and then reaching out to everybody and then removing some of that chaos that would normally follow, right, over the course of the rest of the week, and allowing it again to be scaled and controlled in a way that's still utilizing the leverage of his director of ops or transaction coordinator, helping feed him the information that he needs to send these particular pieces out. So I say that, Chris, because people have to hear things like 8 times before they say you'll never forget it, right? And it probably took me hearing that a couple of times before I actually did it, and it changed my world. So those of you, I don't care if you're an agent doing 2 transactions a year or an agent doing 200 transactions a year. Pick a day, communicate to your clients. That's when they're going to hear from you, and stick with it, because that'll create the space for you to grow into that, as opposed to waiting till you get so overwhelmed that now you're going to actually institute it. I got to imagine, Chris, you got to say that was really impactful, and just kind of getting some boundaries back in your business, some guardrails on the conversations and the chaos. Would you agree?
100%. It's been, definitely super important to the growth of our business. But one other thing I wanted to share with you is, and for the new agents that are on the call, one thing that my team leader told me to do when I came over was my cell phone. I found out that my cell phone, if you can see it, you can't see it, is gold. And my cell phone and the people that are in it and the contacts are in it is where I'm going to really get my business from. So I downloaded an app called S as in Sam, A as in Apple Contacts. And I mentioned this last time on a call with you. And basically, once you download this app into your phone, it takes your cell phone database and all the people that are in your cell phone, and it turns it into an Excel spreadsheet. So I printed it out and I looked through everybody, and I tried to figure out who really knew me, likes me, and who trusts me. Then I colored those people in with one specific highlighter color. And then the next one, just the people that know me and like me. I'm not sure if they trust me or if we really have that type of relationship, but in another color so I can build on, right? And then I went through that list, and I also highlighted the people that I thought would be my advocates, my core advocates for my business. Who loves me enough, trusts me enough that they would send me business. So we created this list of advocates, and those are the people we take real good care of. So we drop off gifts to their house 4 times a year. So we do like little things, but we try to be creative. We try to show our personality. So we did succulents in the fall, like little plants and like wooden things that we dropped off on their porch. It had our logo like tag on it, and it said our business would suck without you. Just like fun things like that. We did.
Who's yelling? You guys need to stop speeding up and down the street.
Hold on.
Doesn't mean you guys can do.
If you're not on, you can mute. I think someone might be getting a ticket.
So we did sparklers.
Go ahead, Chris.
We did sparklers for 4th of July. They were like 50 cents a pack, but we dropped them off. It had our logo on it, and it said something like, your referrals spark up our business. Little things like that. We dropped off, we had a company that created a box of cookies around Christmas for children to be able to make, especially during the pandemic, make these cookies and with their family. And then, we asked them on the box, please take a picture of your cookies once you're done and share it on your social networking. So of course, our feeds were flooded with thanking us with their kids making these cookies. So, and then of course it got to their friends. And, and people love being recognized and people love being made to feel important. And when you make people feel important or you give them something, naturally they feel like they need to give you something. So it worked really well. But you do have to be genuine. You can't BS your way through a genuine relationship. You have to know them well, and you have to make sure that, you're showing them that you really care in every way and that you really are looking out for their best interests.
It's awesome. So I want to go back just a couple steps and just reiterate something where I want to make sure people don't miss this. So you get super creative with your business. That's the entrepreneurial side. But before you got into all of these really cool, fun, and creative ideas to stand out, you started that sentence with, you exported your contacts, right, with SA. You broke them down into categories. You created a system where you're going to touch these people 4 times a year, right? So we first create a system and then we add the fun on top of it, as opposed to just firing in every direction. Oh, I'm going to send this out to this group of people. I'm going to send this out to that group of people this week. I'm going to try God knows what for who knows who, which is that where a lot of agents go, and thus their results are far less effective. So in drilling down and specifying your core advocates, you're literally playing the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your business is going to come from 20% targeting, and it allows you to really take care of those people, those core advocates who are going to take care of you. So yeah, just awesome. But I did want to point out how important it is that it's system and then make it your own. That's MREA, right? Yep. 101. Start with the model, then make it fun. So real quick, got another couple minutes, and then I'm going to get into some Q&A with the people that are on here. For somebody starting out, whether they're starting a new business or somebody starting to really scale or grow a team, or to somebody who's been doing this a long time and just says, I want to kind of recore with your growth pattern last couple of years, what advice would you have for all of them? If it can be encompassing, throw it out there. If you want to break that up, feel free. What advice would Chris give, having seen the results that he's experienced?
So just to back up, and so we send 4 gifts a year, but all of our advocates are still getting touched a lot more. We're also sending them emails, making a phone call, quarterly, doing client events. So that's the gifts were just part of the touch system, but we also build out a calendar. In the beginning of the year, we look at the calendar and we fill out the entire year. What day we're going to send the newsletter, what day is the anniversary of this client, the last time they sold their house, so we can call, what day we're going to make a post about this holiday, what day we're going to send an email about this, so we make sure that we fill that calendar in the beginning of the year, and it just sits on the wall, and we use that calendar as a guide. It's old fashioned, and it's handwritten, but it's there, and it's easier to kind of keep filling in things as we go. So what advice would I give agents? I would say, number one, if you're not passionate about what you do and you're not jumping out of the bed in the morning because you love what you do, then it's not the right business for you. If you don't have that ingredient of passion, I would say, not even, try any more in the business, because you have to love what you do and you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not going to get results. Action creates reaction. So the more that you do, the more, reactions you're going to get. And the reactions are the phone calls from clients and conversations that you wind up having and the business that you get from people and so on. So I would say, really just consistency. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I sent these postcards to this neighborhood and nobody ever called me. Well, you want to claim mind space. It takes time to claim mind space. You have to send the postcards, put a budget aside and send them 6 months in a row at the same time with all information. Maybe you could be helping people by providing information about the local market, or about what a home inspection is, or when is a good time to sell the house, whatever information you want to provide. But if you're sending a postcard once, it's not going to work. People need to see your face. They need to see your logo, and they need to know that that you don't let up, and that you're a hard worker and that you are consistent. Drop gifts off, drop, pens off, mix it up and pick some door knockers. I mean, I looked at taking territory in different areas as farming. and I'm just planting seeds. And eventually the seeds will grow, but you need to continue to cultivate the garden, because if you're not continuing to cultivate it, somebody else is going to, or the plants are just going to die, which means you're not getting any business. So continue to cultivate, but you really have to start, you know, in a specific area that you feel like a great vibe with, that you feel like you could work in, and you know, and continue to push in that area. If you're starting, you know, you're going to send mailers to this location one time, and then mailers to, you know, another, you know, focus on one area and grow, you know, exponentially out of that area, or organically, you know, from that area. Once you get a name in that area and your signs are there, the people 4 blocks away that you didn't do will eventually see that and eventually want to use you or start calling you. And then as you get more sales, you'll have more money to spend, keep putting money aside, and then start growing the area that you're cultivating. And that's what I did with my business. And that's why, you know, it works.
So would you say it's safe to assume that your business is split into like 2 focuses? Because we talk about the touches in the mind space. So the people that are already in your world, you're touching to maintain, whether it's by culture or by act, you're making sure you maintain that presence. And then on the other side, it's your farming approach that is looking to, you know, attract new people to get into that sphere circle and continue to touch them. So would it be safe to say that you kind of break it into those 2 and you're very calculated in both?
Yes. Once we get them, we don't let go of them. I look at it as, you know, those dog leashes that you can press the button and you can let the dog go really far.
Right.
We keep our clients on the tightest leash possible, and we don't let anybody else get in there and have conversations with them. And we make sure we stay in touch with them. We make sure we show them that we care. We have a box of Starbucks gift cards on our front desk, and thank you cards. The minute we get any sort of referral or anything happens, or someone says something good about us on social network, anything, we automatically just, you know, as quickly as possible, send them a quick thank you and offer them, you know, a cup of coffee on us, you know. So we make sure we recognize people. We make sure we make sure that we make them feel important, and that we, you know, acknowledge that they're helping us. So, you know, we're very purposeful, you know, with that. And then we have an Excel spreadsheet as well of all of the people that send us business and how many referrals they've sent us. So we keep track of that as well. So at the end of the year, we know who we're sending a big basket to. And thank you for the 6 referrals this year. You know, we took really good care of these people, you know. And when we ask for, you know, referrals, you know, we don't use the word referral because people get nervous about that. We say, you know, if you have any friends or family or any neighbors that might be thinking of selling, please make an introduction, and we'll take it from there. Just an introduction. So the introduction is a lot less pressure. And then I always tell the people that are making the introductions for me, I'm going to make you look really good. Don't worry. You know, this way they're confident about, you know, what type of a relationship I'm going to cultivate with the people that they sent me. So.
Nice, nice. So psychology, nice play on words, right? Just by shifting that word referral to introduction, it creates a much like safer space for that exchange. Really cool. Just looking out here, if anybody has any questions, feel free to show them. We're in the home stretch here, last 10 minutes on the right side. I got Rob Coliser, who said approximately how many of the listing kits do you send out per listing that is actually signed? Okay, so I'm guessing we're looking at like, if we're sending out 5 of those, what are your conversion rates on closing that listing? Also, what is your approximate cost per kit, right? Box, candle, bag. We won't count the Uber.
Yep. I would say we have a pretty high conversion rate. I would say 9 out of 10. You know, there's always going to be, you know, listings that you don't wind up getting. You know, I have a lot of people that'll call me, just they have an agent or they have their cousin or they have their friend, which we're seeing a lot of. I call those agents ankle biters that aren't really serious agents, but yet they're taking business away, right? They have, you know, these people. So lots of times they'll call me and they'll say, you know, can you give me advice on what my house is worth? And then they wind up using someone else, you know. Or, you know, or sometimes maybe we just don't have that genuine connection. Sometimes, you know, it's not going to work, but I would say 9 out of 10. And I would say, how much does each kit cost me? I would say probably about $15. So, but you know, they're getting, even if they're not using me, they're getting a bag that they're going to ShopRite with. You know, they have a pen that's in their drawer. They have, the candle that has our logo on it. And they have the monopoly board, and, eventually, who knows, they may wind up referring someone, but again, it's claiming mind space. The more I can get my picture out there, I buy boxes of pens with my picture on it. And like every couple months, we drop it off at every attorney, every architect, every doctor's office. And we just, so our pens are out there, so it's another touch. Sally was on her way to her dentist and she saw my sign. She's thinking of selling. And then she heard her friend said I was great. And then the doctor handed her my pen. So just little things like that, the more people see you, the more confident they are. They feel like you're everywhere. Just like any client, just like any business, when you need a plumber and you just move to a new town, what plumber are you going to call? The one you see the most of, the one that you see the most signs. I mean, people don't want to spend time thinking about that. They just want to make a quick decision and make a phone. If you're the first one that comes to their mind, they're going to call you.
Right. 100%. Natalie asked if you're able to share that template. So guys, what I'm going to do, if anybody's interested in that specifically, I'll allow that to be a little more of a controlled environment for Chris. I just put the team email address there. So Chris, hope that's okay. If anybody had any specifics or questions, that they could just reach out to your office direct. And, I know you've been more than open and sharing things with our agents in the past, and, we're grateful for that. So we'll learn and grow together.
Thank you.
You got it, bud. You got it. So what are you blew your goals away last year, overshooting like 125% of your goals. Pretty cool. What do your goals look like this year? Are they measured? Do you put the sky's the limit? You got a stretch goal and a regular goal? How does that look?
So at this point, I mean, I'm happy where I am at. I think that might sound a little crazy, but I think that we really want to work on the quality of the relationships with people and not, try to get so big that we don't really have control of. I mean, there are some agents out there in New Jersey that, are doing monster business, but it's a one and done, right? So we want repeat business. And we want to make sure we can continue to grow, to build those relationships. I mean, we have 13 people on the team right now. And, the bigger we try to go, I think we're going to lose that touch. So we're really comfortable where we're at now. I want everyone on my team to have enough business to keep themselves and their families fed and happy and feel like they're getting the attention they need. So I'm good for now. I think that, if we do 100 million again this year, it'll be totally fine. And I'll be happy and I'll get to spend time with my family and I'm not going to be a stressed out maniac,
I love it. So guys, I'm gonna have you, because I'm gonna take Chris up on this, and in a year I'm gonna have you back on here. And I promise, because you had such an explosion, right, in that business last year. I think this is a natural flow, right? You want to make sure that we button up everything and prepare for the next growth phase when that growth phase of comfort arrives. The truth is, as long as we're growing towards systems and models, this job actually gets easier. And a lot of people don't see it that way, right? They look at somebody like Chris in the business that you've built. If somebody was trying to do 60, 70 units all by themselves, their job would be a lot harder than your job, a lot harder, right? So you've had this exponential growth quickly. So it's time to really make sure that foundation is built properly. And then I know you, and I know that itch will come back for, hey, what's next? How can we now create this same environment at the next level and take what we've created and allow more people to benefit from that? And we'll see how long it takes before that itch comes back. But I love the fact that you are not just hyper-focused on the growth path at the sake of your business and the client experience. So everybody on here should take note. I do believe that your passion and commitment to the client experience is what created the environment that allowed your business to grow so quick and still be stable in it. So, thank you for pointing that out and for being, I think, the first person to open and honestly say, we're good for right now. And you did say right now a couple of times, so that's good. We don't know how long right now is. but that your goal is to really make sure that this experience that you've been able to develop, that was inside of you, and now you've put into 13 other people, is something that's maintainable, sustainable. And then the next phase would say, okay, what's the next step in the model to make this scalable again? So I got one more question that came in here, before we wrap, and it says, this is from Francis Rosado. Francis also runs, a super productive team. Are the 13 agents, or some of them part of your admin team? How many units are your agents selling a year? You mentioned that they have to do 2 open houses a week and make a number of calls. What are those expectations, and what lead sources do you have? Wow, Francis found a way to put 4 questions in 1 question. So let's break them down a little bit. So 13 agents, are any of those admin staff? Like, you have 13 licenses, or do you keep that separated significantly?
We have 13 people on the team. So we have an ISA who handles all of our leads so the agents don't have to, and nurtures the leads. We have a director of operations who also does our marketing because she loves it. We have Jaylene, who's our transaction manager, who really just kind of handles the transaction from beginning to end, all of the little details. We have a listing success manager that puts all the listings in and maintains a relationship with the client and makes sure that they love the listing and they're happy with it and they have all the details that they want. And that's a very scripted phone call to make sure the listing goes in perfectly. We have a runner who runs around and does signs, lock boxes, all that stuff. And we have about 6 or 7 agents. So we have a rental agent who handles just rentals because we're in the city. And we have a bunch of buyers agents who can also work with sellers. Our goal is we give you 50% of the business. You should be bringing in the other 50%. Basically, I have a new agent that came on my team, never sold real estate in his life. Worked 12 months and he made $200,000. So that would probably be my most successful agent. The other agents are doing really well too. Some are still, learning, but we're very big into helping each other. Anytime, there's ever an issue, they all call. Everybody has a specialty on my team, so they're not really calling me. They're either calling the director of ops or the other agent, and we're always sharing. We have great weekly team meetings that are very, very structured. We're always bringing on guest speakers, and we're always talking about the pulse of the market, and we're always talking about objections, and we do it every Tuesday morning. So that's pretty much it.
Beautiful. What are your call expectations for your agents on your team?
So phone calls, like reaching out to their sphere.
Yeah.
So we would like 100 contacts a week, 100 conversations a week. So they log these in, and we check them at the end of the week. They also do a weekly status update for us. So every Sunday before Jaylene and I meet to go over the transactions, they have an email that they send us with where every single one of their transactions are at, with key dates. Mortgage commitment expected this date, closing is going to be this date. So we know, transaction manager knows we need to order a certificate of occupancy, we need to order this, and then any referrals that we send them, they also have where they're at with their referrals that I'm sending them, when was the last time they contacted them. So they're showing, I spoke to them this day, I spoke to them that day. So I could just take a quick look at it and not have to bother them. It's another system, not have to ask, oh, how's Mark going? Did you reach out to him? Did he make any offer on any house? So we get those once a week too. So that's a really good system that kind of helps Jaylene transaction portion and helps me know what's going on.
Beautiful.
And we're also running a contest right now on our team for the month of April. The top units sold, they're going to get one free coaching call from my coach. They're going to get recognized on Facebook and social media. They're going to get $100, and they get choices of the first open house of all of our listings for the month. So they're all kind of competing because competition helps out a lot on the team. It's a friendly competition, but everyone's working really hard going to work really hard in April to try to get those accolades.
Love it. Love that internal cultural piece is really really nice, important too. So then the last question Francis had is some of your lead sources. So you have the ISA. How long ago did you switch to ISA model? Because a lot of people, that's a big transition here in the last 12, 18 months for a lot of teams.
About 5 months ago. So our lead sources are referrals that I'm getting. I always hand out those. Any sign calls We also use Brivity, so we get a lot of the text calls. So we have the text sign outside of the house. So if you want to know more about this house, text this number. And then what happens is, even though the buyer, Sally, is working with John, the real estate agent, I'm getting the text and I'm getting them into the house. So I don't want to say we're stealing, other agents, but we get a lot of texts from buyers. So that's another lead source that we wind up handing out. We do Zillow, but the ISA is handling that. We get a lot of leads from like Street Easy. We get some from like Realtor.com, like non-paid for. And I get a lot of referrals from the Keller Williams network as well that we hand out. So we just distribute them, but again, they're supposed to be working on getting their own business and listings. So, but we do hand the agents a lot of the stuff that's coming in, all the buyers and some sellers if they're out of town or in different towns. I mean, we think we got a nice referral from an agent. The network with Keller Williams has been amazing for referrals. I mean, I got a referral from an agent out in like Colorado for a listing up by you guys. I forgot where the town was, but it was Parsippany, yeah. So I mean, the network's really great. That's been really, really great. And trying to be active on that and be active on all the different Facebook pages, that's been helpful.
Yeah, love it. So Francis got 2 more questions in for us. So let's jam these in. She asked if you do Zillow Flex. That's the listing end, or is it just the buy side? Yeah, we haven't partaken into that either. And then your ISA, she asked 7 days a week. Like what kind of hours? So this is everybody funnel into ISA. I'm going to assume your ISA is also responsible for follow-up on these leads. So your conversion should be going up exponentially. We all know agents are much more of, 1-2 touches. If it doesn't work, I'm out. The ISA's job is to continue to cultivate. But Francis is getting cheered on for her questions. I love it. So maybe just before I close us out, what do the hours look like for your ISA? Are they virtual or is that in person?
He works 9 to 4. He works from home. He also sometimes comes into the office. So he's taking the leads, he's nurturing them, and then he hands them out in Brivity. And then he has a morning huddle with the agents once a day to see where they're at with the leads, have they followed up, what's going on, anything exciting coming down the pike. And it's a team effort, so everybody benefits from whatever sales we have. We've even set it up where my director of ops, my transaction manager, and our runner, every single sale, they get a little piece of the sale. So it's besides getting paid, it's everybody's goal to really row in the same direction and make this transaction as smooth as possible. So they love it when we have 10 closings in a week. I mean, I think my transaction manager gets about maybe say like $200 a transaction or something that we close. So if we have 10 closings in a week, she's getting an extra $2,000 besides her salary. So it's a benefit.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, first of all, thank you again for being so open, right? And sharing details. I mean, it's part of our culture, but you always take it one extra step. You're giving us visuals. You're telling us everything inside and out. Chris, if you guys want to throw some thank yous in the chat box for Chris giving us, his time here. And this is somebody over the years I've built a really strong relationship with and come to know and trust. So if there's anybody, out in Chris's world that you want to send a referral to or even ask a question for. I think I was coming back from a cruise and I was on a boat, right, with somebody who I was trying to send over to your office. So I'll never stop working. But yeah, just always been grateful. You've always stepped up and just been awesome. So as you can see, I'm not the only one who's grateful here. You're getting all that good verbiage coming down the pipeline in the chat box. And anything you want to leave us off on, Chris? Give us a little farewell note here.
Sure. So, definitely try to get as many reviews as possible on Zillow or wherever you can get in Google. I usually, have a standard text that I'll send out with the links for Google and Zillow. Anything that we post, any of our listings that we post, we cross-post to about 35 groups. So we're flooding all these groups all the time with our listings. So that's really super helpful. And then check out on my Zillow, Director of Ops made a really cool top five reasons why you should use us. And we get a lot of business from Zillow based on what she how she created that. It's really, really cool and creative and very, very different. Not just my name is John, I'm a real estate agent, you should use me because I know the town. You know, she really did a great job with that. So check that out and, you know, feel free to copy whatever.
Love it, man. I even got my full page of notes. So you, my friend, are the best. Thank you. I'm always here if you need anything. Guys, thank you everybody for joining us today. I look forward to next month. So again, we have second week is the single agent edition and the fourth week is the team edition. Thank you again, Chris, Prosperity team, Integrity team. I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.
I'm
Have a great one, everybody.
standing ovation, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Bye.
Bye.